If it's Clyde on the inside, it's mine. If it's 305 Clyde Avenue. Okay. She didn't give me your name. She told me and she talked my ear off, but that's all. No doubt. She's allergic.
All right, we'll call the meeting to order for the Angola Common Council, Tuesday, September 2nd. Can we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Coffey?
Present.
Councilmember Olson?
Here.
Councilmember Sharkey?
Present.
Councilmember Dow?
Here.
Councilmember McDermott?
Here.
Several VIPs in the audience this evening. We'd like to welcome Commissioner Will Howard. Thank you for being here. Lynn Hickman, former First Lady of Angola. Thank you for being here. Deb Twitchell, retired clerk treasurer of the city of Angola. Thank you for being here. Now, retired Mayor Hickman, if you would join me up here in the front, please. That way we're on YouTube and people can.
That'll make their day better.
Yes, it will. In 1838, several families from New York came to the wilderness in Indiana and decided this would be a good place to start a town. And they did. They platted it in 1838. They created the beautiful town square we have out here. They started laying out streets. And one thing they did, along with starting the community, they started a tradition of street naming. The names were named after the founding fathers. You had Cornelius Gilmore, Gilmore Street, Thomas Gale, Gale Street, Martha Gale, his wife, and Cornelius's wife, Elizabeth, are the first four streets. So they started a tradition of naming streets in the city after people that have made positive, lasting, great contributions to this town. And in that spirit, I signed a proclamation today. Whereas it's the duty of city government to honor individuals that had made significant contributions to the community and helped shape the values of a city. I love that word, values of a city. And whereas in recognition of his dedicated service to the people of the city for over 3 decades, and whereas pursuant to the powers vested in the office of the mayor and with the concurrence of the Angola Plan Commission, I now therefore do hereby decree the following. The Section 1, the street currently known as Innovative Way, located in the city of Angola, shall henceforth be named Richard Hickman Way. Number 2, the street department is hereby directed to update all street signage to reflect this change within 30 days of confirmation of the Plan Commission. Section 3, the city planning and engineering department will notify all relevant government agencies, postal services to ensure smooth transition and continued delivery of services to residents and business along the renamed street. Section 4, the city clerk treasurer shall amend all appropriate city ordinances to reflect the street name change. In witness thereof, I have set my hand and caused the seal of the mayor of Angola to be affixed this 2nd day of September 2025, and here's your sign. Everybody coming in to the city will see the sign, Richard Hickman Way. Congratulations, Dick, and thank you for all your service, many, many years of service, dedicated leadership to the city of Angola. We certainly appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Mayor. Appreciate it very much. Thank you.
But you have to put it up. He's gonna need a ladder. You got man cave, right? Man cave,
All right. Request approval of the August 18th minutes.
Move to approve. Second.
There's one error.
Good job.
I waited to see.
With the correction
It
is?
said it started at 7:30. It was 7, I believe we started.
Yeah. We have motion second with that correction. All, any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Unfinished business, ordinance number 1785, 2025, an ordinance fixing the compensation of elected officials of the city of Angola for the year 2026, third reading. Second. Motion is second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any, okay, ordinance number 1786, 2025, an ordinance amending the Angola Municipal Code, Title 10, Vehicles and Traffic, Chapter 10.25, Parking, for second reading.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion is second, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Any other unfinished business? New business, request approval of the 2026 fire protection agreement for Jamestown Township with Town of Fremont in the amount of $82,290.
Mayor, is this the same amount as last year?
No, it was a 4%, 5%, 4%?
It says it's a 4% increase.
Have had conversations with the fire chief. There has been productive conversations taking place
Between,
between various township officials. I move to approve.
Second.
Motion is second, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? We request the approval of the Uniform Conflict of Interest Disclosure Statement for Brent Steele. Should be attached.
Move to accept.
Second.
Motion is second, any discussion?
yeah, I'm kind of curious, is it typical to do, a waiver on conflict of interest? If it is, it doesn't bother me so much, but typically coming from business, conflict of interest meant no, never, ever. Wait, never, ever waived. So I don't know, I'm new and I'm not sure.
Government, as long as, Kim, why don't you answer this question?
The state law provides for just such a thing if there's a city employee who has a side business usually of a minor nature that does some.
I saw it was only $500.
Yeah, and then the state law specifically allows them to acknowledge that in writing and be accepted by the council, and then it's no longer a conflict.
I'm sorry, it's no longer conflict, or it's not accepted as a debilitating conflict? Conflict's conflict.
Well, that's how I view
No.
it.
It's not a legal conflict. It's
If we
been
accept it.
eliminated by statute as a conflict, but you could still view it as a conflict.
I can think of other instances where we've done the same.
Yeah, I think Gary Crum did some.
Gary, could you sell office supplies? We have an
Yeah.
agreement with, or a disclosure with Hillary Cope and Amanda Cope. They have some firefighting repair business. I can't think of any others we have right now, but we've had a number of them off and on over the years. Basically, it's to make it known to the public
That
that this is happening, and so the public is aware, and if the public wants to dig into it, they certainly may.
And the other time we talked a little bit about conflict of interest and precedents. Councilman Schaup said that these are non-precedent bearing decisions when we do this, so I'm okay.
Is it up to the $500 amount, or is it just roughly giving a
I don't think
perspective?
there's a dollar amount.
I thought I saw it, but I don't remember what
It did have a $500 note in there.
I appreciate the fact that he brought it up too.
Yeah.
Any other discussion?
Would you be, question is, we never had this conversation, would you be satisfied if there was a limit?
No. No, a conflict of interest to me is, it doesn't matter how much it costs. If you are qualified, if you're an employee of whatever, XYZ, and you want to do any business at all, period, or a family member, it doesn't matter what the value is, it's a no. But the other things that we just talked about tell me that this is not just a one-off, it's a necessary evil that's been allowed.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm,
Well, there's two things, Chuck, maybe this will help you. As far as the dollar amount, I affirm the penalties for perjury, so he's swearing, he's making himself subject to perjury charges. And second, I think that the conflict is that he doesn't disclose. It's important that he disclose it. That's what it is. If somebody has an objection, they can come to a meeting. And I think that's the real reason for the statute saying that. Is it more than that, do you think?
I think it's basically an insider trading thing. Employees of the city are in a position to get the paper contract like Crum did and to get the business to repair fire things. And that's the conflict, in my opinion. They have an unfair advantage over a citizen who might want that. But usually it's such a minor thing that it's hard to envision a citizen wanting it. But I think the conflict lies in basically an insider advantage.
And I could see from your background why that would be.
Because normally we're not disclosed in the world that I live in.
No, state law provides that this procedure can be followed and then there's no offense committed by the employee or the city itself. And there's a code cited there, and this is a formal disclosure form that somebody provides, State Board of Accounts provides, so. Legal.
Any other discussion? Thank you. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Last meeting, Councilmember Sharkey gave us a very good education on state road funding going forward. At the end of that conversation, we also touched on a wheel tax question. Councilmember Dow asked a general question: how much money do we need going forward? And Amanda Cope gave a generic answer. Amanda Cope doesn't like to give generic answers. So tonight she is going to give you a very specific answer. And I asked her also to include a little bit more detailed information on a possible wheel tax. So Amanda, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I'm very black and white. So, before we get into that, we talked before and talked about Pazer ratings, and this is how we rate roads and how do we pick what roads we want to do. So I just wanted to show you all one of our dashboards. So this is a tool that we use to help use data to pick roads. So
Pazer is it an acronym or is it a company? What,
acronyms.
I don't want to know the acronym.
No.
Okay, good, okay.
So this is our city. Every road is color coded. The roads all have a rating from 1 to 10, which is how we rate roads. So this is, I just wanted to show you that this is a tool we use, that it's not arbitrary. We're picking and choosing, you know, we can zoom in here. We can look at, do we want to know, you know, what streets are 7? It hides them and it shows you, here's our 7. So it's just something that is out there that we use, that Nick created. I take 0 credit for this, but to show you guys that we are using analytical data in the choices that we make. So that is that portion.
Basically a configurator. Pretty cool.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
so the red ones, according to the rating, are failing.
Yes.
And so,
Probably more failed. By the time they're a 1,
sure, okay.
they're pretty bad.
And those that are, I'm 4, those that they become priority for your department and street department to fix?
Hold your question. We'll get to it. So the answer's not yes or no.
Okay.
But
Well played.
all right, so really the 2 questions, so 2 things I kind of want to touch on. What are we doing now? Are we in a good situation now? And where do we need to go? So to talk about where are we at now, essentially all of these graphs are going to look the same in terms of green, yellow, red, just like we all see. Green is good, yellow is fair, red is bad or poor. And those are all tied back to those Pazer ratings. So when we talked about the red being not good, failed roads, those are poor roads, which are Pazer ratings 1 to 4, fair 5 to 7, good 8 to 10. Okay. So to start looking at what are we doing now? So traditionally over the last decade, a lot of our maintenance has been asphalt maintenance, meaning we rip out the entire road, we put a new road in, it's brand new asphalt, or we mill the road and put new asphalt in. That is historically what Angola has done for maintenance for the last decade. So in doing that, on average, we have spent $976,000 a year on construction. So that's been a combination of money the city's put in and grant money that we have received. So if we continue on status quo, we're gonna just ignore everything else that's going on in terms of funding and things that are out there, and we continue to spend that much money, what are our roads going to do? So that's what this graph really tells you. So it's a 10-year lookout. 2025 is over here, it's today, that's what our roads are right now. So if we continue to do the same maintenance strategies and invest the same amount of money in 10 years, our poor roads will increase from 11% today to 51% in 2035. Our Paiser rating will go from 6.3 to 4.5. So, that should tell you what we're doing right now is not sustainable. We can't continue to do this for the next 10 years and still have the roads that everyone wants in this community. So this next graph is looking at how much money right now we've historically put in of city money. So the first graph was city money and grant money. This is just what we have put in of city money, which has been averaging just over $250,000 a year. So if grants go away, which, it is feasible, is a possibility, or that we don't qualify for certain grants, what will our roads do? So obviously, intuitively, they're going to get worse. So our poor roads are going to increase to 69%, and our average Paiser rating will be a 3.6. So we all looked at the first where there were those red roads that we said, oh, those are failing roads. All of our average roads would be in that failing category. So this is kind of where we're at using existing budget in a 10-year lookout of what would happen. So the second question was, well, how much money do we need? What do we need to be able to do what we need to do? So it's really kind of two different theories with that. If we continue on in doing asphalt maintenance only, so your reconstruction or your milling and resurfacing, so new black smooth roads everywhere, our maintenance strategy, which is what the city has done. If we want to maintain our current condition, so if we want to try to hold our percent poor roads and our Paiser rating the same over the next 10 years, we need to invest $2.8 million per year, every year, for 10 years. So in these categories, these future budget needs, I don't really get into where that money comes from. We just need a bucket of money, $2.8 million every year, to keep our roads like they are now.
I noticed, and I did look ahead, I'm sorry, but I don't see concrete. What's the multiplier for concrete? Because if you tear a road bed all the way up, what's the multiplier then versus asphalt?
We don't have any concrete streets, so you're saying if we start converting to concrete?
Yeah, because we're looking for alternatives, so I was just kind of curious if that's just out of the realm of thought.
So I did not analyze that. I can't give a good answer to that. I can tell you that they last longer, but the cost is it's more.
Yeah, more. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good thought, but I didn't take that into consideration. So 2.8 million, maintain our conditions. If we want to improve conditions, which, largely you would be the body to say, well, how good is good enough? I mean, that kind of falls on elected officials to determine that. So for just illustration purposes, I said, well, what if we went to 0% poor roads in 10 years? Because that's what we get called on, right? Everyone calls to say, it's terrible. We don't get called on to say, well, this road's okay, but it could be better. So,
Well, thanks for this road.
yeah, that never happens. But so this is kind of like your gold star standard here. And if we wanted to not have any poor roads in 10 years, we need to invest $4 million a year, every year for 10 years.
Are you the lucky department that gets the calls?
Some, I would say it's between engineering, street, and the mayor's office.
Because I was kind of curious if there was any calculation of how many calls and then complaining about it because, you're dealing with elected officials. Wonder how much pressure you had. it adds to the relevance of how
Absolutely, and
we
that's,
expedite this.
that kind of goes back to that Hazer maps. So as non-elected officials and department heads, I wanna defend that. I wanna say, well, here's the map, and now you as an elected official can make that determination, but I'm not going to do that, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah, perfect sense, got it.
Okay, so we've talked about asphalt only. Obviously, there's different ways to maintain roads. There is chip sealing.
No.
Microsurfacing, there's different maintenance styles. And perfect, because you as elected officials have to be okay with some of that. And that is probably, former mayors here, so that's probably why we don't have chip seal roads, because it's not popular. You will get complaints.
What is microsurfacing?
It is,
Well, where's the last places, because you've been doing microsurfacing around town.
Chip and seal.
have snuck a couple chip and sealing. It is a fine aggregate in a liquid layer of asphalt, is the best way to put it.
Think of like crunchy peanut butter.
So where have you done one recently?
Glendarin?
Does it work?
Yeah, it's a preservation technique. Does it extends the life of the asphalt
Does it
pavement?
necessarily fix it?
Right, if there's areas that need to be fixed, which Chad and his crew in the street department, I think the year or two prior came in and did some asphalt patching of the bad areas and then came
Then
through.
they peanut butter over top.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
is okay if you're like in a neighborhood where people are going to drive slower and not have a lot of traffic, I think. But I hate to see chip and seal
Well, and
on
to,
major thoroughfares.
to Councilman Sharkey's point, the preservation is very important word. That's what it does. It seals. It's sealing technique.
But it's fixed and it just extends the life for a period of time, but it doesn't really.
Yeah, it could extend the life, add years of life to the existing life. So just like we take care of our health to add years of life to us, the same thing happens with the pavement. So it could add 5, 7, 9 years, depending on what the condition of the roadway was to begin with.
Wasn't it Woolard that was done too? Just think,
It's a microsurface.
yeah, Woolard, poor Woolard. If you- All of us go down Woolard, that's,
Amanda, I know Gilbert Street was covered with chip and seal, have you heard? And there's one house on Gilbert Street. Has anybody spoken up about that?
Not that I know, do you?
Have there been others that I haven't noticed that were chip and seal? It's not just Gilbert, it's Martha. Martha, a section of that got it.
We have, in full disclosure, we've been trying to strategically put that back out in the community because we know that funding is an issue, to try to gauge, are people going to be up in arms? So, some are. So if we looked at, we call it a mix of fixes. So we look at different maintenance styles. So it goes beyond the asphalt, which is the most expensive, to something that is a little more economical. But you have complaints. You have the people that don't want to live on a road that's chip and sealed or microsurface. So, but if we look at that and we look at trying to mix that in, what does that do from a funding perspective? So if we want to maintain our current conditions, we need $900,000 per year, every year for 10 years to do that. If we want to improve conditions, so the same parameter of have no poor roads in 10 years, we need $1.5 million. So obviously, it's cheaper. So I really, these two slides were given to kind of show you bare minimum, if we want to get by, or the gold standard, anywhere from $900,000 a year every year to $4 million a year every year. So that's kind of what we're looking at. And how much money do we need? It's really a harder question to answer than just throwing it out there, but that is kind of where you start in the realm that we're in. So as the mayor spoke about, he asked that we look at the low HUD, so potential estimation. So these are numbers that have came from LTAP on minimum and maximum revenue generation that we can achieve should the city move forward in adopting that the excise and the wheel tax. So at a minimum, if it is adopted, we're looking at $58,000 a year. Maximum revenue is estimated to be just over 200,000. And then Ryan gave me the average portion that we are getting from the county's distribution, and that's just over 230,000 a year.
Mr. Mayor, it's my understanding that the situation from the state is basically handcuffing us to implement.
Community crossing total grant money is gonna be going down significantly next year for communities our size. So, yeah, like we anticipate we will see less community crossing grant coming back. And it's been a community crossing since, what, 16? When did we start? Not quite 10 years ago. It's been a real game changer. We've used a lot of those funds to make up for past sins of roads that weren't built quite the way they should have. This year, we're redoing Mark Drive. If you get a chance to go down and take a look at the total rehabilitation, I think on the map you showed, Mark Drive was considered failed. I think on that map she showed just a few minutes ago. So yeah, we are gonna see less state money coming in. At one time during the state legislative process, they actually talked about only giving community crossing grant money to communities that had adopted a wheel tax or a low tax. After a lot of people complained about it, that you're either penalizing us if we don't raise taxes, or you're rewarding us if we do raise taxes, both of which had real policy problems. They backed off that. They partially. There's two formulas for community crossing grant going forward. Councilmember Sharkey told us that there's a lane mile component and then a dollar component. You can only get the lane mile component if you do have a wheel tax in place. But we, as Amanda just explained, we are gonna need significant money going forward. We're gonna see reductions on other tax sides of our income also. So this is one thing you wanna keep in your back pocket going forward, whether we want to do it. Granted, you go max rate, two people have a car, a married couple have two cars in the garage, $50 a year. My wife and I are a little abnormal. She has a little sports car toy, I have a motorcycle toy, and she has an RV, so $165 a year at the maximum rate for us.
It's her RV.
It is.
I never seen it.
Mrs. Martin isn't happy that Mr. Martin is working, so she went and bought an RV and got a dog. So, yeah, it's her RV.
She can get away.
That's the plan. That was the plan.
So, man, even if we have this wheel tax, we are insufficient from what I'm seeing up here.
Yes,
In any account, whether it's mixed use or asphalt, right?
yes.
Do we have other sources that we're missing here? Is the legislature gave us any other avenue to keep up? Because we can't be the only community in this situation.
No, and if you look at what LTAP pushed out, I mean, the whole state is that way and the whole nation's that way. We're not unique to this.
Okay, yeah.
You know, we're just a member of.
But even if we don't do this, we're still behind. Or if we do this, excuse me, we're still behind.
And if we do adopt a wheel tax, city residents will have to pay two wheel taxes, one for the county and one for the city.
Yes.
But we do get some of the county money back also, so the city does benefit from both of those taxes.
So if we did max and then get county, it's roughly 430,000.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which doesn't go very far by today's standard. What's the cost to build a mile of road now? I mean, roughly
So in this analysis, I used $2.3 million.
per mile. We have 50 miles.
And that is an average. I will tell you that Sarah Drive, $3.9 million. It's just the times. I mean, you look at the historic, what you could do in 2017 and what you can do in 2025. There's no comparison.
And just so I get this to clean my head, the state is still responsible for fixing North Wayne Street and E27 and US 20.
Correct. Curb to curb.
Curb to curb. So this, because we're saving $300 in property taxes, that has not put any crimp on the plans to renovate North Wayne Street.
No, that project's still going forward.
Okay.
You know, and I guess I will preface all of this as talking about street maintenance, you know, that doesn't touch on any of the other things that Chad and the street department does.
Sure.
And sidewalks and things like that the city's responsible for.
Is there a list that exists in your mind, Mayor, priorities annually with the city?
In terms of road maintenance?
No, in terms of funding the city.
Yes. This year, we did have a number of capital expenditures included in the budget this year. Next year, the only capital expenses we put into the budget are projects we've either talked about internally, talked about publicly, or obligated ourselves. Those are the only, so I did not add any, if you want to use the word pet projects next year, I did not add any to the budget that we'll present here in a few minutes. Yes, we do have priorities. The street priority, I leave up to the professionals. It is scored not only by condition, but it's also scored by use. Streets that don't get a lot of use score lower than ones that get.
And you can do micro-servicing of those.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's not based on any pacer, it's not, that's
It's
just,
just a conversation that we have.
that's just the specific.
Condition.
Give the condition, yeah.
Pavement assessments, but
Pavement surface evaluation rating system.
there you go.
We have to teach it, which is, you know, should know the acronym.
Amanda and Chad approach it from a very professional, analytical perspective.
Yeah. Education, I got it.
Any other questions for me?
And even if we implement something like this, we wouldn't be seeing the outlay of money for at least another year or so, too.
And we're still bleeding.
Say it again, I'm sorry.
Well, if you implement it, it's still not
The
collected.
wheel tax?
Yeah.
It would not go into effect till 27. You would
Yeah.
not see any revenue till 27.
So then we're getting
The
2
cutoff
years.
for this year was a couple of days ago. You would have, had we adopted by a couple of days ago, you could have seen it in 26. But
So that means we're in
August,
the whole 2 years on.
end of August is the
Revenue, yeah.
cutoff.
So we're in the whole 2 years for revenue.
But if it helps us as far
Am I
as,
right on that?
Yeah.
as far as grants, the revenue is the only thing to consider. If it may help us with grants, or next year the legislature says even more so, we need to maybe get ahead of the game. I don't like raising taxes. That's not popular with me, but
We're welcome to the barrel.
yeah, we're in a vice. We're in a vice. And
Would the money that we expend towards the streets end up potentially affecting sidewalk work and curb work?
Ryan, you might be the better person to explain like MVH, restricted, unrestricted, and, I mean, it's all a pot of money if it's not grant money.
Is this
That can be used for a
sidewalks that
variety
could
of
be,
things.
that
Yeah.
could be
Some communities do use their wheel tax below it for sidewalks. I've run several mayors that do that. And a lot of communities, other than us, are having this conversation right now. We're not unique by any stretch of the imagination. A lot of communities are having the same conversation.
I thought we were special.
the thing about this is people that, like you, that have electric cars are, they're contributing to help fix the roads. I like that idea rather than, they're not paying gas tax if you've got an electric car.
We also pay a premium when we register them, other than the wheel tax. There's a fee that goes into having a hybrid or an electric car. Because gas tax revenue is what funds this stuff, and gas tax revenue has been decreasing because a lot of people.
But that tax is just like the gas tax, right? It's heading south for the most part, right? It's not a local tax.
You were
Yeah,
donating
it
to
goes
Indianapolis.
centrally and then gets
Yeah.
redistributed based on a formula.
This stays,
Correct.
The Carmel roads are pretty, I'll tell you that right now. They're
Nice bridges, too.
Massive construction on them.
Mayor, can I ask a couple other things? Certainly. Because I know we're gonna get into budget next, we'll be talking about the detail of that, but it's like, what we're most concerned about right now is revenue. And I'm gonna ask Ryan, because this data ought to be readily available, but some kind of tool, you've given us the quarterly expenditures, you've got the budget, the department heads, the mayor, you got the budget dialed in. That's not the issue. The issue that's gonna affect us is how much money's coming in, which will then dictate whether the spend can occur. So what I was wondering is if you could do a simple spreadsheet that just by quarter and show an annual, maybe just go back 1 year, show what each quarter the revenue, and I know it's gonna look like this because of how the revenue comes in.
It's tough to do. Our revenues quarterly, first of all, our levy funds, we only get 2 distributions a year. So your revenues are gonna not look correct quarterly for those.
You like
levy
twice a year
funds, which
better?
are the better part of our operating.
I mean, do you like twice a year better? It doesn't matter to me how often it is, as long as you can compare.
We usually do it yearly as an overall.
That won't be enough going forward because you got a freight train coming at us.
Well, we have retained the service of financial consultants to
Well.
guide us through that.
Okay.
Unfortunately, they can only work on what they know is existing law. They don't know what the legislature may do in the future. There may be some changes coming, and they obviously cannot predict what's going to happen there. They can give us a good picture going forward, given the current situation. After that, there's a lot of uncertainty.
Well, and that's where I'm getting at is apples to apples.
Yeah, I would suggest you wait until the financial consultants come up with a report. We have a conversation with them here in a couple of weeks. I think they're going to start working through. We would have had them do it sooner, but we were pretty well tied up with the Pokagon project and the bond issue that went along with that and all the other financial.
I saw the department heads notes, and you made the comment, this is probably the last easy budget.
Yeah.
It'll be a whole different way of
It will.
managing going forward.
Yeah, it will be. It will be.
And the other part about you always have other state legislative meetings, because they could be taking heat from a lot of people.
Things can change too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
To answer your question about the quarterly, for our city funds, the income or the revenues are very easy to estimate at budget time. Most of them lit, which is a large source of our income. All the other taxes we collect, the state collects that are distributed to us, we know all those like by right now when we're preparing our budget for the next year. So revenue wise, it makes more sense to spell it out as on a yearly basis rather than a quarterly. We're not running tight enough in our cash balances, nor do I foresee us that we have to worry about being able to pay bills as we go through a quarter. So, I can show you our revenues on a quarterly basis, but I don't think they're going to make much sense in the grand scheme.
Yeah, just try and find something that makes sense that you'll know the train is moving.
Yeah, I would recommend we wait till we talk.
Yeah.
And now that we've also have Ryan's budget management report coming up here.
2.3 million per month.
That's what I used in that.
Average.
analysis. Yes.
Anything else on this subject? All right, let's move along to the 2026 budget. I want to thank Ryan for all the hard work he puts in to doing it. Deb, was this the part of the year you missed the most when you were at the clerk race?
We love doing budgets.
I know you do. I've never seen anybody get excited about a spreadsheet, but she does. It's absolutely phenomenal. And I want to thank all our department heads. They spent a lot of time working and hammering things out and spent a lot of time working on their individual budgets. So I want to thank all our department heads and Ryan for all the work he does during the budget time of year. On your desk, there should be a letter from me, basically a narrative of comments about this year's budget, and I present it for your consideration. For the tax-funded side of city operations, we are presenting a balanced budget for 2026. Despite a significant increase in our property tax cap loss, we are budgeting expenditures 1% below estimated revenues for the year 2025 to 2026. We are proposing a 2.2% increase in general fund spending. However, when factoring in all our other city operational funds, we are budgeting a 4.8% decrease in year-over-year spending for city operations. For the capital fund, we are budgeting a reduction from $6.5 million to $5 million, a 22.5% decrease This change is primarily due to two large grant-funded projects that were included in the 2025 budget. Overall, tax-funded portion of the city budget reflects a 9.8% decrease compared to 2025. We are cutting tax revenue spending 9.8% next year from this year. The city utility budget, the water utility, this is going to be a big one. We are planning to see a 73% increase in spending, driven by the need to address two major aging infrastructure replacement projects. Wastewater utility, we are budgeting for a modest 1% increase in spending year over year. We have not reviewed utility rates for several years. However, due to the planned replacement of two aging water mains, the Pokagon State Park project, and other utility capital needs, we will conduct a review of utility rates in the upcoming year. Combined budget impact, considering both tax-funded operations and utility funds, if approved, the overall city budget will experience a slight decrease of 0.3% from 25 to 26. Looking ahead, Senate Bill Enrolled Act Number 1 presents a significant challenge for city and other local governments across the state. This legislation represents a major shift in how local governments will fund their operation. And as a result, we will be facing some difficult decisions in the years ahead. To proactively address these changes, we have engaged the services of Baker Tilly to help us understand the full impact of this legislation on our city finances and to guide our strategic planning. While there is widespread concern among other government leaders, our city is in a stronger position than most. We benefit from several key advantages: strong financial position. Thanks to the leadership of the Hickman administration, Clerk Treasurer Deb Twitchell and Ryan Herber, our city finance is financially sound. We carry zero tax-backed debt, and over the past 2 years alone, $2.7 million has been transferred into our rainy day fund under Ryan's direction. We have an exceptional leadership team. Our department heads are highly qualified and solution-oriented. No matter the challenge, we can have full confidence they will find innovative and effective ways to respond. Because of these strengths, we are prepared to adapt, make thoughtful decisions, and continue delivering high-quality service to our residents. And with that, I will turn it over to Ryan for his budget management report presentation.
All right. I won't get too deep in this because, as Councilmember McDermott told me, he has already fallen asleep reading what I supplied earlier, so.
Call me on the carpet.
But I provided the full report and kind of a letter with a synopsis for all of you. And just to hit the highlights, this report compiles information on operating, capital, and pension funds and includes the city's 2025 amended budget and 2026 proposed budget. As a disclaimer, within this report, in order to project things out in future years, we'll use certain formulas to project out revenues. Obviously, we've spoke about the current legislation and how that's going to affect things. So while this is a guide, I would defer more to what we're going to find out from Baker Tilly going forward. I think that it's a strong projection for how it's going to affect us next year, but in the years to come following that, I think we're going to have to see. For example, we've had about a $20,000 circuit breaker impact over the past maybe 5-6 years. Next year, DLGF is predicting that to be about $220,000 of lost tax revenue on our levy funds. I've accounted for that for 2026 in this report, but if that accelerates over the years to come, then the position's going to change. So historically, the city has achieved a healthy cash balance for operating funds. The trend is expected to continue. Levy operating funds will maintain at least a 50% cash operating balance. The levy growth factor property tax increase remains 4% for 2025. Local income tax revenues are estimated to increase by 1% in 2026. The 2025 increase was 10.5%, so that has slowed down. Local income tax amounts to a major portion of the city's revenue. Recent legislation by the state of Indiana is changing how lit distributions will be structured to local units in the future. In 2024, revenues exceeded expenditures, creating an operating surplus of around $2 million. This was the fourth consecutive year with a significant surplus. As 2025 progresses, revenues appear to be outpacing conservative budget estimates again. This trend should lead to an end-of-the-year operating surplus for the fifth consecutive year. As always, the administration should continue to use caution when considering adding personnel or benefits, services, or any capital outlays beyond the scope of vehicle and equipment replacement schedules in certain operating funds. And then just to kind of skip to the end here, past practice has demonstrated the city administration is committed to a priority-driven budget. In 2026, budgeted expenditures are close to balanced in operating funds, and there is a $1.3 million deficit in capital funds driven by larger capital needs. This deficit can be supported by a substantial increase in cash balances over the last 4 years. Projected forward using the historical assumptions in this report, cash balances will grow over the next 4 years. As mentioned before, recent state legislation is expected to have a significant impact on revenues, including property tax levies, local income tax, and road funding in the coming years. The city's strong financial position and cash balances will help maintain service levels as the legislation takes effect and revenue sources are adjusted over time. And if you have any questions over this report or anything, feel free to contact me and I can explain what's in it. So, thanks.
Any questions?
A lot of information.
A lot of information, a lot of numbers.
And that print is so small, I can hardly read it with my bifocals.
Get a magnifying
I
glass.
need to get a magnifying glass. That's good. Thank you, Ryan.
Reports, clerk treasurer. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
You discussed the work session.
Oh, yes.
Well, I was gonna put it at the end, but we can do it now. Okay. September 10th is on the schedule. I didn't bring my calendar.
Last year was at 9. I think it will.
Yeah, the date's tentative. We can do any date or time. It just needs to be next week so I can get things wrapped up and get the advertisements.
9 o'clock next Wednesday. Wednesday the 10th.
That works for me.
I think it's okay. What time is it?
9 o'clock. We'll make sure the department head meeting is over by 9.
They won't have to come back in.
That's an advantage for them, yes.
What's the agenda look like on a day like that? I've never gone through.
We go through the budget page by page, and anybody can ask any question on any page.
It's one of the highlights of our year.
Devil miss it. You can show up if you like.
That bring donuts.
All right, 9 o'clock, September 10th. Everybody good? All right. Reports, clerk treasurer.
Not for me.
Yep.
Nothing to report, Mr. Mayor.
Martin.
Nothing there.
Chief.
No report, Mayor.
Jeff.
If you guys remember the clarifier number 1 tank that was breaking, that we ordered parts 3 months ago, we do have the parts now. The construction company will be here Monday, starting construction on that with a crane to tear it down. So
Gonna wake me up.
it might. FYI. That's all.
Chad.
No report.
Rick. Nothing, Mayor. None of the parks. Amanda.
No report.
Chief.
No reports, sir.
All right, very good. Okay, request approval of allowance of accounts payable voucher 75,971 through 76,159, totaling $944,613.46.
I move that we approve and pay the bills.
Second.
Motion is second, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any other new business this evening?
Mayor,
If I may, you kind of caught me off guard earlier because I didn't know what was happening tonight, but I just want to thank you and the council for that recognition. As you know, that's not why we do these things, so I guess it's nice it doesn't have Memorial Way on it, that makes it. But I just wanted to say that any success we had, I owe to my city wife, Deb, here, that 8-hour day, and my 24-hour wife, Lynn. Several of the councils over the year really had some great councils, and then, as I've said time and time again, we have the best department heads, and we got the best city employees of anybody in the state. So we couldn't have had any of that recognition without them back there supporting, pushing, pulling the reins back, all that stuff, and I just want to thank you all.
Well, we thank you for leaving the city in the financial and physical condition that you have. You did a great job, and we certainly appreciate everything you have done for the city. Deb, you have any words to say?
No, sir.
Commissioner Howard, you have anything that you'd like to?
Just here to support a fellow Ossian bear.
Well, we thank you for being here, and I'm sure it means a lot to Mayor Hickman that you were here to see it. It means a lot to me. Thank you for coming. All right.
Mr. Mayor, we've all had, or Councilor Coffey and I, in your office, that had a conversation with a lady on Clyde Avenue, and she's having issues regarding feral cats. And
Non-feral cats.
or both of them.
Yes.
And she was interested. She actually gave me the ordinance number, and it's the only things that cannot be heavy in leashes are dogs. And she was wondering if there would be any desire by this council, by the mayor administration, to do anything beyond the dog. And I said that I would announce that thing and then let the other people help be involved in this decision.
Her concern, I talked to her on the telephone, her concern is, and one of them is that she has a troubled neighbor. If I said the name, Ken's eyes would light up.
Wouldn't be a surprise.
Okay, troubled neighbor that she feeds birds, she's got a bird feeder. They don't feed the cats come eat what she feeds the birds. And she's upset with that they're at her house. Also, they've scratched her, she's had some other problems. And she wants us to consider an ordinance that deals with animals running at large to include cats. And that's what she's asking. And
Feral
it's,
cat, who you're gonna hold accountable.
her problem is not so much with the feral cats. It's with the people that let their cats roam, open the door and to talk. That's where she's having a problem, I think she described to me. She has a problem with feral cats too, but
Don't have mine.
I don't know what she's feeding the birds, because we have a bird feeder that's huge and we don't have problems with cats coming and eat that, but she.
Certainly.
Council, just information, officers throughout years, whether it was during when I first started in 2000 up to now, you have thousands of cats, feral cats. It has nothing to do with those who go out and take their cat for a walk and you're gonna put it on a leash. You literally have thousands of cats in our community. And
I'm not in favor of doing anything. I said I would present
no,
this to the
I
council.
get it. If
because
we're
that
gonna
was
do
required.
something,
Yeah.
maybe looking into having somebody come in and help remove said cats. But you have
Yeah, I had them in my place, I know.
huge problem with cats.
If they are trapped or someone takes one to the humane shelter,
It probably has happened.
they spay or neuter it and then release it back into the wild. So some of those may have already gone through the.
All I said is I would bring this up, that, there it is.
I'm not a proponent of
I am.
anything like this, because you can't sustain game, you can't manage it.
Councilmember Durham, what do you got for us?
I have heard from a constituent, is there an ordinance regarding trucks parking on the street? Like
I got it.
big trucks and like trailers, like lawnmower trailers, because I have.
No trailer can be on a roadway, alley, mound that is not attached to a vehicle. And then the total length cannot exceed 20 feet. So as soon as you attach a trailer to a vehicle, your total length is going to be more than 20 feet. Most commercial vehicles, whether it be a food truck or something along those lines, are going to be very, very close to that 20-foot marker. So we do have city ordinances for it.
The other question that I received from the same person was trucks and cars parked in their yard. Do we have anything to do with saying,
You mean in the homeowner's yard
yes,
itself? Yes,
and it's a renter?
a vehicle has to be parked on a hard surface,
Okay.
cannot be parked on a grassy yard.
Okay.
And we've proceeded on some of those. Usually it's in association with other junk and trash.
Wonderful.
But
Okay,
it is an ordinance violation.
thank you.
Anything else?
No.
We are adjourned. Thank you all.
We had that issue in our. Complained about the parking. We moved it in. We're told to go in the yard. Yeah.
Two of those same ones, like come out of the front step into the back. I don't know why they fixed my house.
Exactly. Wipe that, we know all over your board.
We're gonna know.